I still remember the way his voice cracked through the boardroom like a chipped blade, loud, reckless, eager to cut. "Effective immediately," he said, eyes glassy with triumph he didn't earn. "My brother is relieved of all duties." My brother. Drunk on power for the first time in his life and actual alcohol for the 10th year in a row. The shareholders waited for my reaction. I gave them none. I stood, closed my folder, and walked out. Silence was always my sharpest weapon. He mistook it for surrender. He'd learn. I met him long before he met the bottle, back when Dad was alive and still believed we'd run the company together someday. Back when my brother would sit on the edge of my bed asking me to double-check his math homework because you were always the smart one. He used to look up to me. Then he learned he could run from responsibility and people would still catch him. Bartenders, guilt-ridden girlfriends, Dad. And when Dad died, I became the last net beneath him. I worked. He partied. I built. He burned. But I told myself we were still a team. Blood does that to you. It lies. The signs of betrayal weren't loud. A closed-door meeting here. A finance report missing my initials there. Assistants whispering when I entered. The kind of details you dismiss if you want to believe your brother would never knife you for a title he couldn't even spell sober. But the evidence came, eventually. Not in a dramatic revelation, just an email thread forwarded to me by accident. His message was short, sloppy, misspelled. "We need him gone. I can handle the board. It's my turn." My turn, as if I'd stolen something from him. As if the empire I built from Dad's dying skeleton was ever his to claim. I didn't get angry. Anger makes noise. I preferred leverage. The shift happened quietly, inside me, a slow, cooling calm. I didn't confront him, didn't warn him, didn't even correct the numbers he butchered in front of the investors during his practice speeches. I just watched, observed, calculated. The board believed he could control the company because he'd sobered up for 30 days and learned to tuck in his shirt. They thought he was fresh energy. They forgot that incompetence isn't cured by a shower. But I wasn't interested in changing their minds, only in timing. In the weeks before the vote, I moved quietly, shifted assets, reassigned key intellectual property, rewrote clauses I had been smart enough to bury years ago. Clauses that made the company's core patents legally tied to my oversight, not the CEO title. He wanted my position? Fine, let him take the office. I would take everything else. So when he fired me, I let him. When he gloated, I let him. When he stumbled into his victory party that same night, already slurring again, I let him. Because Monday morning was already written. He arrived at the office late, reeking of whiskey masked with mint gum. He pushed open the door to the CEO suite, my suite, still warm with the ghost of my discipline, and froze. The screens were black. Every device locked out. Legal envelopes stacked neatly on the desk, each one bearing my signature. And the board, 7 stone-faced people waiting for him on my old sofa. I stepped out of the corner. I didn't need to speak loudly. He'd always heard me better when he was scared. "Sit," I said. His hands trembled, the tremor he blamed on caffeine, but I knew came from withdrawal. I explained everything. How his appointment triggered a contract clause he didn't know existed. How the patents, the tech, the most profitable division were all under my personal control. How the company, without them, was a well-decorated corpse worth maybe a tenth of what he bragged about. And then I handed him the financial autopsy. "You didn't take my job," I said. "You took the fall." His face collapsed first, then his breath, then whatever fantasy he'd built in that drunken mind of his. The board didn't wait long. They moved to remove him, effective immediately. He tried to speak, but humiliation choked the words. For the first time in his life, no one rushed to rescue him. As I walked out, free, steady, unbroken, I felt no victory, just release. Some betrayals demand revenge. Others demand truth. He got both, and I finally got my peace.